everything I used here was free. I didn't use any of the, paid plugins because I don't have the paid version of Davinci Resolve. I have the free version. If you want to turn off and on your color grade quickly, there's a button up here you can hit called bypass color grades and fusion effects, and it'll basically just on and off what you're doing. So this was not log footage. This was shot on Fujifilm X-T3, and the picture profile was Eterna. I guess the inspiration was I was just kind of wanted to just kind of I wanted everything to be like enhanced. I wanted to like over exaggerate, like the lights, if you look in the background, have this misty look to them, this blown out type of look. His shirt is glowing. I feel like it accentuates the colors a bit, so it's like this dreamy type of look going on, and that's what I wanted to achieve. This is my node tree, and this is why having a node tree is important, because you could do technically everything in one node, but if you do that, you can't really break down step by step what you were doing. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're working with another client or director, and they're like, can you turn down, like, let's say for instance, like, can you turn down the way the highlights are in this shot, like the way that the lights are blown out like that, or have that misty look? I don't really like that. Can you turn that off? You'd have to like, all right, let me go in here and dig through each one of these little panels here and figure out what's what, because as you can see where you have red dots, that's what you did in that node. So here you see this was curves, only the curves panel is lit up red with the red dot. So that's one way it helps you know what's what. And you'd have everything lit up, trying to dig in and figure it out, trying to remember what was what. So in that example I just told you, I believe most of that's happening with my Pro Mist filter effect I made. No, actually that's not. Oh, I have an effect on, is it this? Okay, there we go. So I didn't name this one, but we can see what it is. I was probably just forgot to do it, but this is light rays. So that's what did that. So I could be like, yeah, I know that's light rays, so turn it off, we're good. Quick, easy, done. I didn't have to go digging and figuring it out. Let me just write on there what that was. I didn't have to go digging and figuring out what was what. If you right click on the node, you can have options to do different things to it, and you can go node label and change the name. You can also change the color if you wanted to. It just changes the color of the line there. I'll click off of the effects panel to give myself some more real estate. So yeah, there you go. All right, if you want to quickly deselect everything without having to go one by one, because you could do that, but it takes time. And you can imagine the more nodes you have in your node tree, the longer that can take. So if you just hit, let me just turn everything back on. So if you hit Alt D, it will turn off everything, just like that. You don't have to highlight it. It just turns everything off. So if you do that, you can go in one by one and click things on. And this is good for this type of situation, because now you can kind of go in step by step and see what you did. So a good example of doing this the right way, I use primary color wheels, and then I also went to high dynamic range color wheels, the HDR. I don't know why I didn't put the HDR color wheels into its own node. I should have done that, because now in this case, I don't really know what I did. So I'll need to go in here and start like messing around with it and playing with it. But now that's baked into that look. If it was a separate one, I'd be able to turn it on and off quickly and see what it was doing. But that compared to also using the primary color wheels, I don't remember what I did. I did this a while ago, so I don't really remember what I was doing using that for. But I probably was messing with highlights and things like that. But you see the main thing happening here is like a little pop to the overall image, bringing some contrast, saturation to his skin, curves. It's just like stretching that image out a little bit, bringing the highlight, separating the highlights and shadows out. It's bringing some more contrast. You can kind of see it. It gets a little bit darker around the shadows, even in his skin. The highlights pop a little bit more. So it's nothing crazy. It's just bit by bit. It's like thinking about like painting is like brush strokes. You know, a painter isn't painting an entire image in one brush stroke. It's like, you know, different brush strokes that are going through to create this overall image. I have one here called Look, and I think, yeah, all right, so I think I call this one, I could have been more detailed with it, but I think what I was doing was really pushing like, oh, I want my shadows to have this type of a color to them. And let's see what I did. Tint. Yeah, I think that's what, in my lift, I think I did that. And then offset. So yeah, you can kind of see like, what else did I grab? Huge, I was separating some things out. So for something like a qualifier, if you wanted to see what was being masked, you could hit H shift and it looks like, okay, yeah, I separated his skin tone. I didn't want to affect that, but I wanted to affect everything else. So everything outside of the mask is being affected basically. So yeah, there we go. You can see that. Because even his shirt was getting it, and that wasn't. So you can see the shirt here. Change colors. Well, I was making it a little confusing. Hold on. Turn that off. Yeah, but it's not really affecting his skin because I separated his skin out with the qualifier, and I probably also use a keyer to do some things there. So yeah, like I said, you can see the red dot shows you what you did in that node. Next, Pro Mist. So all this is really doing is creating more like this, like misty, I guess you can kind of say like a slight blur. So imagine they have filters that I actually call Pro Mist filters, but there are ways that people do it in Davinci Resolve and in other programs to create it in post if you didn't have it on set. But it just gives the image like this texture, this creaminess. Like you don't want your images to always be super sharp, which is something you get with DSLRs and mirrorless cameras and digital cameras. You know, a lot of times you get a sharp image, and then if you're shooting with a lens that is very sharp, or clinical is a word you'll hear thrown around, it doesn't have any character, is other words you'll hear. So you're really just kind of just doing things to create character in your image, and that's one of those I guess secret sauces, if you would. Another thing I did was throw glow on, and I feel like glow is really what brings in the pop of what makes this image what it is. And what I was going for, I wanted it to look, it's a music video, I wanted it to look pushed. His shirt is glowing, it's not realistic. But glow will kind of mess with like the bright spots of your image, and you can go, it's an effect, so you would search for that in here. But you can like play around with it. The shine threshold, you can push it or bring it down, so it doesn't have to be as intense. You can go in and change different things, the global blend. So there's a lot of things you can do with that. This is a quick overview, so I'm not going super into detail. Light rays, the one we killed before because we said our client didn't like it, which isn't true, it's just what I was making up. But yeah, that was doing that. That's what this was for. And this light rays is built for this type of situation. So if you have like lights in the shot, it's built to do that. So that was perfect. And given the Pro Mist filter on top of that, it just kind of evens it out. It just blends it all together and just gives it this hazy type of look that I just really like. It just adds so much moodiness and character to the night scene that wasn't there before. And then to finish it off, I have a vignette on, and that just really just hones in on everything. It takes the attention away from, it's not like it was crazy like bright, like I didn't have to add it there, but I wanted to because I just wanted to bring it all in. And that's kind of on his face more, covers his face a little bit more than I would like. So I could go in and adjust that more. You mess with the size of it and kind of open that up a little bit. I typically will control vignettes myself. I'll make a mask and then darken the areas outside of that mask. I'll invert it and darken the areas outside of it. But this time I wanted to just test out the built-in vignette tool that Davinci Resolve has. And it has a couple of different ones. So you can do it yourself by hand, which is usually how I do it, by using like the masking window. Or you can search it as an effect and drag and drop it into one of the nodes. And then you can also do it from the edit page. So you have a bunch of different ways to do it. show you the before and after again. I don't think there's anything wrong with that image, but to me, this just pops. And again, you don't have to do it how I did it. Everything I used here was free. I didn't use any of the, you know, paid plugins because I don't have the paid version of Davinci Resolve. I had the free version. So you see what I created here for free in Davinci Resolve. So get creative, get in there, start messing around with it. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And until next time, peace.